How's it going, Bears fans? Welcome back to the Bear Down podcast, where we talk everything Bears every day of the week. Today, we're going to be briefly discussing the Chicago Green Bay 5-16 game at Soldier Field in Week 16. As Green Bay improves to 13-3, Chicago goes to 8-8, and the Packers clinch that one seed. Today, I'm joined with my co-host Parth and Jaylen McClinton. Parth and Jaylen, how you guys doing?
Doing pretty good, honestly. The Bears made the playoffs at the end of the day. That's all we wanted. Just another chance. We get to watch the Bears one more week. The Saints, which I think is the best favorable matchup for the Bears out there. So, yeah, we'll talk about it a bit more. But I'm happy. At the end of the day, yeah, we did lose to the Packers, and I hate losing to Green Bay. You can't be mad about making the playoffs. So, I'll say I'm happy.
Same with me. Obviously, if you were in our stream, I wasn't, really mad once it got to the end of the game because I saw that the Rams were winning. So, I really, at that point, it was just a pointless game. So, I'm excited. Of course, I wanted to win the game. I'd rather be 9-7 than 8-8. And who as a Bears fan, who doesn't want to beat Aaron Rodgers at Soldier Field? So, but right now, I'm happy. The Bears made the playoffs. We have another week of guaranteed football for the Bears. And growing up as a Bears fan, this is my second time watching this team in the playoffs. So, I'm not mad at all.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really be too disappointed. Obviously, it does really suck dropping to the Green Bay Packers in any game, especially at the hands of Aaron Rodgers. But luckily, the Rams and John Wolford bailed us out, and Kyler Murray, who went out in the middle of that game. Prayers up to him for a speedy recovery, which I'm not sure how that injury is looking. But he did go out, and that helped us a little bit. And as much as you can say it helped us, that sounds kind of poor. But we're just going to briefly go over the stats, guys. It's not going to be that long. We mainly just want to talk about the Saints because obviously this game was not very appealing to watch. But I think Parth and Jaylen and I were saying I think this Packers team, regardless, is just it's too good, to be quite honest, which kind of hurts to say as Bears fans. But quickly going into the stats, Mitchell Trubisky went 33 for 42, 252 yards in passing with one interception. In the rushing game for the Bears, David Montgomery had 22 carries for 69 yards and one touchdown. And for the receiving corps, led by Darnell Mooney, the fifth-round pick out of Tulane, who stepped up big time in a pretty big game. Darnell Mooney had 11 receptions for 93 yards. For the Packers, Aaron Rodgers went 19 for 24, threw for 240 yards and 4 touchdowns. And he broke a franchise record that I believe was previously his. And rushing game for the Packers, Aaron Jones had only 11 carries for 42 yards, but had 1 touchdown. And then in receiving game for the Packers, Marquez Valdes-Scantling had 2 receptions for 87 yards and 1 touchdown, and what should have been a lot more yards and another touchdown and a drop. And I'm sure Packers fans were not very happy about that, but the Bears defense did not really show up that great. Did not show up today. They did not play well. Before we get into the game and kind of analyze it a little bit more, Parth and Jaylen, why don't you guys just go ahead and talk about your reactions to the game, just briefly, just discuss about it. And I know that we're all happy about a playoff, potential playoff win, but just talk about this game first.
Yeah, losing to the Packers is never fun. I know many Packers fans, they're celebrating this win. They're posting it all over their socials. It's not fun losing to the Packers. It never is. It's become a repeating thing for us. And it's kind of sad to say, but I've kind of gotten used to it. But, that's just the life of a Bears fan against the Packers. Aaron Rodgers is playing out of his mind. He's an MVP. And the Bears did have our chances to stop him. We were given 3 interceptions that we should have intercepted, but we were given 3 passes that we should have intercepted, but we couldn't. You got to capitalize on those situations. When you're against a team like the Packers, especially when they're on fire, you got to capitalize on every situation they give. Chuck Pagano, I don't understand what you're doing with this defense, but the defense has become terrible. I mean, this Bears defense in 2018 was one of the best of all time, and now in 2 years, basically the same roster, and we've seen a huge turnaround, and it sucks because there's way too much talent on this roster for that to happen. You can't leave guys wide open. You cannot guard wide receivers with linebackers. We saw Danny Trevathan on Lazard for a bit, or on Scantling for a bit. We saw, I think, was it Josh Woods had to come into the game because Roquan Smith got hurt and he was out trying to guard wide receivers. It can't not happen. It's happening way too often. And to see this defense crumble like that week in and week out, it sucks. I think Pagano needs to go. And Mitch Trubisky, again, there isn't much to say. You can't put this game on him. But again, you can tell that the Bears offensive coordinator, Bill Lazor and Matt Nagy, both do not trust Mitch to lead the offense. When you don't let your quarterback throw the ball more than 5 yards then for most of the time, for most of the game, it's kind of obvious that they don't trust him to make that throw. The only time he did complete that ball to Mooney. I mean, credit to Mooney. He had a great game, 11 receptions, 93 yards. He left it all out on the field despite being, I think injured for most of the game. David Montgomery with another game of 69 yards and a touchdown, so a solid game from him. But yeah, I think the play calling, again, is a little shaky. Thought Nagy had a lot more say today. It definitely did not look like a Bill Lazor play called day. And, they don't trust Mitch. The defense definitely crumbled apart. But, again, the Bears have a shot next week to beat the Saints. That's all that matters. Anyone can win on any given day. I'll probably say that another 10 times in this podcast, but that's all that matters at the end of the day. Green Bay, give credit to Green Bay. They're a phenomenal team. Probably see them in the Super Bowl. But, yeah, just another loss. But, I'm not too disappointed.
Yep. I'm not sure where Jaylen just went, but I'm going to go ahead and just give my thoughts briefly. Oh, he's back. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm going to let Jaylen go.
So my fault, something in my eyes, but like Parth said, it's a defense had a really bad game.
Yeah.
On the first 3 possessions for the Packers, they scored touchdowns. One possession we had Danny Trevathan on MVS, who's a very fast receiver. Yes, he's inconsistent with his hands, but if he gets open, Aaron Rodgers is gonna give him a chance to catch the ball, and he did, and it was a 77-yard touchdown on third, and I think it was like 8 or something like that. I think it was like 3rd and 8. So, and then in the second half, the defense came out strong. 2 back-to-back 3-and-outs for the Packers, but the offense couldn't capitalize off of it. This is I wouldn't say it's a well-called game. The offense didn't play bad, but they didn't play good. We were in the red zone three times, and we only got a touchdown once, and that was on the opening drive. So to beat this Packers team who has a very strong offense, you got to score points, and that's something we didn't do. We only put up 16 points. Obviously, they put up 35. I think they put up 35.
Yeah.
And at home, that's inexcusable. This is a huge game for us. If we win, we were in. Obviously, we're in regardless, but we couldn't count on John Walver to beat the Cardinals. Thank God he did, but we like you said, I'm upset because I feel like this team could have came out and played much better than it did, but we're in the playoffs, and it's a next game mentality. We have our opportunity to get a playoff win, and that's all that matters to me. But we have to play better. We really do.
Yeah, so just briefly looking, you guys obviously said it, but briefly looking at the passing attempts for the Chicago Bears, yards per pass was 5.8, and in comparison, Aaron Rodgers was 9.5. Now, Aaron Rodgers didn't throw as much as Mitch, but you guys said it yourselves. I think when you're playing in a must-win game, despite not knowing the outcome of the other game, you have to be able to trust your quarterback, and I know that the Packers defense is good. It is top 10 right now. But you do beat them in the run game. That's how you're supposed to do it. The run game was working today, not as well as it has in the past, or the past few weeks, I should say. But David Montgomery is still David Montgomery. He's doing his thing. But I think you still need to trust in Mitch a little bit more. And I think one of the biggest problems is that although the offense looked a little bit like they were kind of average today. The fourth down we went for a 4th down conversion 6 times, and we went 5 for 6.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen often. That is a very, very rare occurrence, especially for the Bears, because if you were watching that game, it was literally inches every single third down conversion was just inches short of that 1st down marker. I just think you have to be able to execute a lot better, especially if you're going to be playing teams in the playoffs. You have to play flawless football, but we do have to talk about the New Orleans Saints briefly, because there is something potentially really, really big that could help the Bears when they play, which is sometime either next Saturday or next Sunday. We're not sure of the time yet, but if it is on Saturday, the game times are 1, 4, and 8, I believe. So it could be one of those three. If the Bears play on Saturday, Alvin Kamara is not eligible to play. So if they play on Sunday, though, however, he can clear protocol with a negative test. So we're not sure when that time is right now. We're going to be going throughout the week. We're going to be talking about
probably
that.
be announced like tomorrow or Tuesday.
Yeah,
We'll probably know in the next couple of days, but regardless, we'll be updating you guys. But that is a huge loss for them if they lose Alvin Kamara, because obviously he's one of the scariest running backs in the league, and he had a pretty good game against us too. But I don't think our run defense is that poor. I think that we definitely can beat the Saints. We were very close to them. We were just a field goal away from, not a field goal, excuse me, but we were 3 points away. Or 3 points behind, excuse me. They were 3 points behind them, and they barely escaped from Nick Foles, who did not have a good game. And I think Mitch Trubisky could have a much better game against them. But yeah, I mean, it'll be a very interesting matchup. But I mean, we just basically really wanted to cover that. We didn't want to get too much into the Green Bay game because that one stings a lot. They didn't look that good, but I'm not really too concerned about it. I think the best shot that we have is just to play that, just like Jaylen said, that next game mentality. That's going to be really key for the Bears here, and all the players are going to have to go home tonight, sink it, let the loss sink in, and move on to the next day, man, because it's from here on out, it's playoff football no matter what. This was basically a playoff game, kind of. I guess you could say, but now it's real. It's real. Like we're going. It's going to be a very interesting week coming up here. We'll see what happens with the news on Alvin Kamara. But the Bears are going to have to prepare and face Drew Brees and Sean Payton and the Saints, and that will be at home. The Saints are 12-4. So here we go. But I just want to ask you guys a question. This is Matt Nagy's second season in a row going 8-8 as the head coach of the Chicago Bears. Are you guys upset with what do you guys think is the most blame that you can be placed right now? Do you think it's Chuck Pagano at this point, or do you still think it'd be Ryan Pace or Matt Nagy in question?
You talking about us, the reason why we lost today, or the reason we're 8-8?
Overall, throughout this whole season.
It goes on both the offense and the defensive side of the ball. The offensive side of the ball on that 6-game losing streak, and right now the defense.
Yeah.
Even though we were on a 3-game winning streak before this game, the reason why we lost this game was because of the defense. So,
and the reason why we lost the Lions was because of the defense.
Yeah, it was because of the defense, So,
and then the 6 games before that, like Jaylen said, was because of the offense. So they've literally flipped sides.
The only person you can't blame is Chris Tabor. So
yeah, the only person you cannot blame is Chris Tabor, I feel like. But at this point, Chuck Pagano and both Matt Nagy deserve a lot of blame, especially Chuck. I mean, this defense was top 5 in almost everything in 2018, top 10 in almost everything in 2019, and now we're not top 10 or top 5 in almost anything. And it sucks to see that, huge decline from the defense, especially when you have guys like Eddie Jackson, Khalil Mack, Kyle Fuller, Robert Quinn, Roquan Smith. I'm talking Pro Bowlers after Pro Bowlers right here, and that they're playing average football altogether. I think it falls into scheming. The Bears' defensive scheme is definitely bend, don't break. I don't think these guys play like that. These guys like to, feast on opportunities, and that's what we haven't been playing. So I think Chuck Pagano definitely deserves a lot of blame, and so does Matt Nagy. First of all, he benched Mitch Trubisky, which we all know was the wrong decision now. Second, his play calling. The reason why the Bears, I guess, were struggling was because of his play calling. As soon as he handed off play calling, the Bears' offense magically turned a lot better and went on one of their best stretches in Bears history as an offense. So Matt Nagy and both Chuck Pagano equally deserve blame. I think they both equally. They both shouldn't be here in my opinion. If I had the chance, if I was in control of the team, I would not bring both of them back next year. But I doubt that happens. So yeah, that's where I'm going to keep it at. But again, we got a game next week to think about. This game's over. And the Bears have a chance to shock the world. I think no one's giving us a chance again to beat the Saints. Like no one gave us a chance this week. So again, it's just that underdog mentality. You just got to come out like you have nothing to lose. I don't think the Bears have anything to lose next week. So
yeah, it's all on the line. So
yeah.
It'll be a very interesting week. But that'll pretty much do it for us, guys. We just kind of want to break it down real quick for you guys. Didn't want to get too much into the game because it was kind of a hard one to watch. But we've got bigger things to look forward to. I had to hop in. If you joined us today with our live stream, it was fun. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Always a blast to hang out with you guys. So hope you guys like that as well. Going forward, I'm not sure if Chris will be here I'm sure he can record, but I'm not sure if he'll be available for the live stream game, which again, we're not sure when it's going to be, if it's Saturday or Sunday, but if Chris is able to make that, he'll be in there along with the three of us, I believe, combined. So catch it next week for all four of us. But that'll pretty much do it for us, guys. So thanks for tuning in. And yeah, Bears are 8-8, make the playoffs here. Kind of stings, but at the same time, man, I'm really happy. You can never take for granted Bears playoff football.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll pretty much do it for us, guys. So thank you guys very much for tuning in, and stay safe and bear down.